Hello and welcome back to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there were only two games, so we couldn't pick any of those by ourselves. We just followed the machine, and unfortunately, machine was also incorrect this time. There were some value in home teams when St. Louis continued their matchup in Arizona. Or this was first game in Arizona, but they have played multiple games before this in St. Louis. A very tight game, 1-1 until the last part of the game, and maybe the record of the pipe shots in this game for both teams. At the end, St. Louis scored few to the empty net and won the game 4-1. And then Boston, New York Rangers, neither team could get any offense going. It was a long time 0-0. Boston scored one, and that was only goal in this game. So pretty even game, but Boston won 1-0. Tommy, how do you see, how do you saw these bets and these games?
Yeah, I think we might have broken the system now because we had to pick these two, and instantly the computer got it wrong. No, but both games really tight games overall in New York. A lot of power play for the home team, a lot of scoring chances, but Jaroslav Halak was the man of the match for Boston Bruins for some time there. Of course, New York Rangers a little bit disappointing offensively again. They have to start scoring goals in, otherwise they will not win these games. And of course, then Boston Bruins scored a very Boston Bruins goal, basically from behind the net, just crashed the net, and 1-0 for Bruins. Rangers got a chance 2 minutes before the end by power play and still couldn't penetrate the Jaro Halak's goal. So with these odds, again, I would do this bet anytime, but we have to start winning these at some point. And quite similar one in Arizona as well, very much as we predicted. Arizona turned the game really fast, got a lot of scoring chances, couple of posts, both ends actually, and then only in the end, in the third period, around 53 minutes when it was, San Luis got the go-ahead goal and then scored two goals in the empty netter. And 1-4 was the final score, which didn't really reflect the game. Could have been 1-1, 1-2, 2-1 even for Arizona. So another good bet with these odds, but that's how it goes. Have to start winning as well at some point.
Yeah, and I think after these few not so great evenings in our picks, we changed the approach a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, as we have been hunting now these home underdogs since start of the season, and that hasn't been extremely successful pick strategy. We today selected few home teams again, but these are now favorites against their opponents. So Toronto Montreal continued their matchup. They played a few nights ago, and that time in Montreal, Toronto was better 4-2. Now they play in Toronto, this heavyweight matchup of the Scotia North Division, and Toronto is clear favorite both in our simulations and bookmakers' books, but there is still value to bet Toronto at -127. Then the worst team of the league, Detroit, goes to Nashville. They played a few nights ago, not yesterday, but day before. Nashville won 3-2. It was tighter game that we expected, but Nashville is a clearly better team here, and the odds -156 is a bit borderline to bet at all, but we think that this value that Nashville provides makes sense to place this bet.
Yeah, the games were really tight last time around. The both of these picks. So Toronto beat Montreal 2-4 in Montreal. Very close game, that one. And also Nashville beat Detroit 3-2. Only scored the go-ahead goal 1 minute before the end. So very close games. But as we've been picking these under, like heavier odds previously and usually losing then in the shootouts or the overtime. So let's do this now the way that both of these teams that we picked are gonna win it in the overtime or shootout. So especially Nashville Detroit is the sort of game that is probably quite close, but Nashville does have a lot better offensive prowess to actually win the game in the overtime or before. So I have my trust in Nashville, and of course Montreal then. Like we've been saying all season, a little bit overperformed. Now are hitting the wall and struggling a bit. They didn't score a goal against Edmonton and Mike Smith. Now they're facing red hot Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. Frederick Anderson probably starting at the goal. Toronto's gotten their game going. They are very well balanced now, a little bit more defensive than we've seen previously. Still managed, of course, to score a lot of goals because of that offensive power that they do have. So Toronto, quite okay odds there for the home favorite. So let's go Toronto and see that Montreal is continuing their struggles. Could be that Jake Allen is playing in the goal, not certain yet, but doesn't really make a difference for Montreal. Carey Price has been great. Jake Allen, ditto, so no problems in the goal, but Toronto is still favorites there.
Yeah, hopefully these two picks are now aligned both in money line and side value and our pick. So that is the triangle that we are looking for tonight. If you are interested in some of the home underdog value bets, there I think we have a few games that you should take a closer look. Boston continues their trip in New York. Now they play against New York Islanders, back-to-back game against a fresh opponent. Good value for home team there. And then St. Louis, Arizona does the same thing, back-to-back game with same teams in Arizona. Again, we have home team some value in this matchup. That was, like we discussed, pretty even yesterday, but let's see how it goes tonight. And then third game that would be good to highlight. Odds are currently 50-50, but Chicago is a favorite in our simulations against Columbus. And it would be also interesting to see if these teams are returning back to their self and start to defense a bit better than they did last time when they met 2 nights ago, when it was quite a free-flowing hockey in Chicago.
Yeah, I think in that game, both of the teams have been watching video for 24 hours after that game. That how do you defend these situations, because that is very unlike Chicago or Columbus. So probably going to be a lot tighter game this time around. We do have Chicago as favorites for about 59%, and like you said, the odds are 50-50. So we do believe that Chicago will bounce back from that quite nightmarish loss after leading 3-1. They then succumbed to 5-6 defeat against the Columbus. So we have Chicago there.
Yeah, and these back-to-back games are of course interesting to see. Like I said, Boston is now playing another night in a row in New York. Their back-to-back history on the road is win percentage 51.5 when they have been winning over 54 in general on the road. So not so great performance, but against New York Islanders, they have been able to win 55% of the road games. So again, bit contradicting statistical information, but it would be good to check, for example, goalies. I assume that Tuukka Rask is playing tonight in Boston as he was resting yesterday.
Yeah, should be Rask's turn to take the net. And important thing here is that New York Islanders actually got the day off, 1 day more rest. Boston has played quite a lot in these back-to-back situations, and probably they are very heavily relying on their first line, probably one of the best lines in the NHL. They play a lot. Also, their top defensemen play a lot of minutes. So it should start to affect them at some point. It hasn't so far. They've been actually better in the third periods than they have early in the game. But I think that in this case now, New York Islanders playing at home, Barry Trotz again matching the lines. They are putting the Casey Zizekas, Matt Martins, Cal Clutterbucks against the top line of Boston, and then allowing their Islanders top lines playing against the worst lines of Boston. So might be a good matchup for New York Islanders. Probably one of the reasons why the simulations do like New York Islanders so much in this game. About 54% of simulations go to the home team, while the odds are around 120. So pretty good home underdog there if you like these sort of bets, which we do usually, but now with the different approach, let's see how it goes.
And if you would like to have our approach in like a magnified by 2, the first game tonight, early game in Winnipeg, Ottawa goes there. Game starts already 10 p.m. Finnish time, so that's quite a bit early game in middle of the prairie there in Canada, and we have their clear favorite home team, but the odds that are hovering somewhere around -220, -230 are of course below the threshold that makes any sense to bet. But if you would like to score some winners, I think Winnipeg would be good value bet here.
Yeah, sometimes it is worth just to see some green once in a while in the betting slip. So, yeah, Winnipeg a massive favorite. They've gotten their game together since the arrival of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Quite balanced team. A little bit similar sort of progress as Toronto has done. Winnipeg still lacking a lot in the defense, but they have been able to put some balance in their game, especially now with the center line pretty much improved. So last game was really good from Winnipeg, and I think Ottawa is still struggling. They haven't found their identity, what they're trying to do, and it's along with Detroit quite easily the worst teams in the NHL at the moment. So Winnipeg at home, of course, heavy favorites. We do have a little bit of value. We have 75% for Winnipeg, while the odds are around 67%. So like you said, really heavy home favorite, but sometimes it's worth taking these smaller victories if you can.
Yeah, and I think last game that we can highlight here is the matchup between the Florida teams. Last game 2 nights ago, Tampa wasn't awake when they started to play in Sunrise. Florida won 5-2. Now rematch up between these two teams. We have some very minor value at home team again here, but it's quite even game. Naturally, if the odds will increase for the Florida before the game from the plus 130 where they are right now, it could be worth to bet in this tonight again and with these numbers.
Yeah, I think last time Panthers took Lightning by surprise and managed to score a couple of goals. This time around, I think Lightning will come a little bit better prepared. But still, Lightning is that sort of team that, like we've been saying, that they might not put everything, all the effort in the regular season. They done that a couple of seasons ago and it didn't end well for them. They didn't do that last season and they won the Stanley Cup. So they might have learned to save a little bit of their energy and that sort of thing. But now it's a local rival game and they lost last time around. So I think Tampa will be coming with a little bit more power to this one. Like you said, we have minor value, but it's only 0.3% at the moment for the Panthers. So very, very small there. But yeah, looking at the movement of the lines is worth here if Tampa will be gaining more momentum in the odds. I think Panthers might be worth a punt closer to the start time of the game.
Yeah, and like we have earlier said, it would be good to check the starting goalies as well in this game. In Florida, Bobrovsky should start, but their backup goalie has played also reasonably well.
Yeah, Drieger has been good in Florida net as well, and also in Tampa Bay has the one of the better backup keepers of the league, the Tabasco man McElhinney is there, so good enough goaltenders in both ends for sure.
Very good. We'll start tonight with Winnipeg Ottawa game. Then there is a West Coast game. Vegas goes to San Jose 1 hour later, and then the rest of the games will follow. So another good Saturday night fever with NHL hockey.
Yeah, have a good weekend.